Will learning about ancient time battles still be relevant in the future? Sub-questions. How have the ethics of war changed? What technology has changed in battles from ancient times to now? Do we still use ancient time battle tactics? How have the ethics of war changed? In ancient times, captured soldiers were executed or put into slavery. The Roman Empire was known for its slavery. Romans had many slaves, from house slaves to gladiators. In ancient times, there were no laws like the Geneva Conventions to give captured soldiers rights. The Geneva Conventions were established in the early 1900s and state the standards of international law for war. Do we still use ancient time battle tactics? Infantry tactics are the oldest methods of warfare. Infantry tactics have been used both in battles in ancient times and in battles, wars and campaigns during the modern era. As weapons and tactics evolve, so do tactical formations. Examples of these formations changing are the Greek phalanx, the Spanish tercio, the Napoleonic column, and the British thin red line. Modern infantry tactics vary with type of infantry deployed. Vehicles support armoured and mechanized infantry in combat. The infantry unit phalanx was a tactical formation used as far back as the 3rd millennium BC. It was a tightly knit group of hoplites, usually upper and middle class men, typically 8 to 12 ranks deep. Hoplites wore heavy armour and were armed with 2 to 3 meter long pikes and large round shields. The infantry in the Roman army created new weapons that were very useful, such as the pilum. The pilum was a specialized javelin. The gladius was the typical short thrusting sword. The Romans also made new shields to protect themselves from javelins and spears. Usually, when Roman soldiers came head to head with the enemy, they would throw their pilums at the enemy and then engage in hand-to-hand combat with their gladius. Flanking is an attack on the sides of opposing force. If a flank works, then the opposing force will be surrounded from 2 or more directions. Flanking has been a part of almost every battle in history. In the Battle of Marathon, the strong Greek phalanx put most of their numbers on the sides of their army. This tricked the Persian army into charging the Greek center. The Greeks then flanked the Persians and surrounded them in a huge circle. This move was very successful because the Greeks only lost 192 men out of 11,000, and the Persians lost 6,400 men out of 15,000 and 7 ships. Flanking is still used throughout the modern age, as during the ground campaign of Desert Storm during the 1991 Gulf War, the coalition's forces used a flanking attack. The massive left hook, which avoided the Iraqi forces, dug along the Kuwait-Saudi border, but instead swept past them in the west. What technology has changed in battles from ancient times to now? The first warships of the ancient age were driven by huge auras, which were powered by slaves. These warships fought each other by ramming and using archers with flame arrows to set the enemy ship on fire. These ships eventually evolved into galleons, which were the most common ship used in the Caribbean during the pirate era. Now these ships have turned into massive battleships, made out of steel and armed with huge guns and missiles. Warfare changed dramatically when planes were invented. At first these planes were slow and easy to shoot down. Eventually helicopters were invented. Now we have jets, which are extremely fast and very deadly. Technology in cavalry has changed a lot. At first, cavalry were armed men on horses. Cavalry evolved into tanks. Tanks were first used in World War I. Now we have huge tanks that can go up to 70 kilometers per hour. Basic infantry weapons during the ancient age were swords, spears and bows. There were many more weapons, but these were the basic ones. These very basic weapons evolved into guns such as the musket, which was commonly used in the American War of Independence and the French Revolution. Now, infantry weapons are machine guns and rifles such as the M16A4 assault rifle and the M249 light machine gun. The way armies spied on each other during the ancient world were scouts. In many wars, such as World War I, birds were used to carry messages from spies to the officers. Now we use drones and satellites to spy and coordinate attacks and raids. Armies first used catapults as artillery to attack cities and armies. These catapults fired huge stones and sometimes fired stones that were set on fire. Cannons were then invented, which is the reason why kingdoms stopped building castles. Now we have field artillery and mobile mortar artillery. These mortars can be carried by one person almost anywhere and can be operated by a crew from 2 to 4 people.
You are in pain, take your life with cocaine. But I am who I am, so I do what I can when I can, but I can really do a damn thing. So fine, this day, all your problems has gone away. But tomorrow, when you wake up, all your problems are back to stay. Your life again, turn it up with cocaine. And every time that you live, it's a time when you feel, and the only time you heal. Tell me what it is, and it will never be like this. A problem that we have in common, baby. Tell me what it is, it probably doesn't mean a bit. Yeah, rip my heart apart. Now it's too late. It's too late.